I won't tell him.
I said me. I said me.
Order.
Let's have order here. I hereby call this meeting to order. First thing we do here at these meetings is we do an invocation and plays, but the first thing I want to do is read the announcement. A regular quarterly meeting of the Sequatchie County Commission will be held on Monday, January 25th, 2021 at 7 p.m. The meeting will be held at the Sequatchie County Courthouse courtroom in Dunlap. Due to COVID and social distancing requirements, only elected officials and purpose on the agenda will be admitted. All others can access the live stream through https://youtube.com. That is through BTC Fiber. It's their YouTube. So to COVID-19, the pandemic, in conjunction with Governor Lee's Executive Order 71, which we are allowed to do this meeting this way. So I want to state that up front. Before we get started, I want to have a moment of silence for our two lost commissioners, Ray Hobbs and Terry Bishop. I'm going to ask, after a moment of silence, if Brother Powell, you'll lead us in prayer, and Clint Huth, if you'll lead us in the pledge. May we bow our heads.
Our Heavenly Father, as we come before thee tonight, we thank you for these two great men that we've lost. We know that you're with you. We ask you, Lord, to be with us tonight here at the meeting. Give us the knowledge and the guidance to do the right thing for the people that we represent. Lead, God, direct us each day that we walk with you, that we might go forth, doing your will. These things we ask in thy humble name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Would you join me in the pledge, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Now, guys, we're in new territory here for the county, and with Jennifer's help and Winfred and Brian to help arrange the seating tonight, I think we're in compliance. So we're going to do the best we can do. Now, what we have done, because we have appointments in District 6 and 7, I've told Winfred, he's the gatekeeper tonight, he and Stephen Billingsley, anybody from those districts that need in, to let them in. Now, we can hold 44 folks in this room. So we've still got some room. They're still watching the gates. So Jennifer, we have your blessing, Jennifer, with this meeting, correct? All right, thank you, Council. Okay, moving on. Madam Clerk, give us the roll call, please.
Chester Shell.
Here.
Gary Williams.
Here.
Brian Ruling.
Here.
Bobby Sherman.
Here.
James Breland.
Here.
Bill Hatfield.
Here.
Joyce Dodson. Here. Ronnie Land.
Here.
Jeff Barger.
Here.
Paul Powell.
Here.
David Cartwright.
Here.
Terry Dishman. Terry Dishman. Let it hereby be known that Commissioner Terry Dishman has entered his last roll call. If you are Sequatchie County, you will recognize his name. From record starting All-Star Tailback, Veteran, Sequatchie County Deputy, and County Commissioner. Terry Dishman excelled at his craft. On behalf of a grateful Sequatchie County, we thank you, Terry Dishman. Ray Hobbs. Ray Hobbs. Let it hereby be known that Commissioner Ray Hobbs has answered his last roll call. His valued 36 years of service will truly be missed, and his shoes will be hard to fill. The positive impact that this splendid gentleman had on Sequatchie County is unmeasurable. On behalf of a grateful Sequatchie County, we will simply say thank you, Ray Hobbs. Clint Huth.
Here.
David Hudson.
Here.
Tommy Johnson.
Here.
Tom Venero.
Here.
And Jeff Mack.
Here.
We have a quorum. Very well done, Madam Clerk. In your packets, you should receive the minutes from the October 19th, 2020 meeting. You should have reviewed those minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve said minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Mackey.
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Powell. Any discussions, deletions, additions, corrections? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Said minutes hereby pass. Okay. Moving into the reports. Pam, I know you gave a brief report in budget. I would like for you to do the same in this meeting. The Reader's Digest version, please. And because I will have Powell on me if we don't get out of here in time.
Thank you. I'll be quick again. The first point is the manhumble opportunity in leasing to purchase or lease only the property with building at 543 Industrial Park Road is still under negotiations. COVID has, we've worked with them through the COVID. They had a kind of a downswing in employment, and they're trying to get back on their feet as far as that goes. We have allowed them to use a small space in the back of the building with their need for space on their equipment. The new COVID, like I said, has slowed down the process of negotiations even. So a letter was sent to upper management requesting commitment by end of January, and we're waiting on the response, and I'm hoping that we will get a response quickly. We do have another entity, another business that has contacted us that is also interested in the building and other buildings, which there's not that many, but they do want to come. Second opportunity is for an entity to buy the property with pad at 623 Industrial Park Road. It's still ongoing also. Some slowdown due to COVID toward all state, federal, and local regulations. We still have a positive outlook on the closing of some type this year, hopefully the first or second quarter. Ms. Beth Jones has, like he said, has got a grant in line for them, and that kind of slowed down them just a little bit with the grant. So we're hoping that she's going to build a maybe 7,000 square foot building on that pad also. In regards to a loan that was given to the Cdbg in 2019 in conjunction with Galloway Lease and the upgrading of the Tecumseh building. And the upgrading of the building also allowed for the great opportunity of the Huebner Company to come in and to reside in Dunlap. We recently received a letter from the city attorney, Russell Ann Swafford, in regards to the city of Dunlap agreeing to start repayment of the funding. This should happen in the coming months. Hopefully by July they'll start toward the repayment of this loan. $136,000 was what was given to the county, and we're hoping to get every penny back. We're also in the process, the IDB board is also in the process of receiving bids to procure services of an independent auditor who will be from the state comptroller list to do annual audits for us. So that's it in a nutshell, so we can get out of here. So does anybody have any questions?
Pam, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll tell you what, a good idea to do the county IDB. It's been a valuable asset already. Next up on just reports, verbal, and it's not part of the committee. I see Dr. Winston Pickett here. Winston, give us an update on Valley Fest, please, sir.
Thank you, County Executive Cartwright, members of the commission, and ladies and gentlemen of the audience. Good to be here. Strange times we live in. Ironically enough, I've been thinking the last big pandemic was back in the early 1900s when my father and my mother were born. Here we are 79 or so years later in my lifetime for the next one. So let's hope we wait at least another 100, right? Plans for Valley Fest are continuing. Some in this room. We have had a meeting, particularly with the entertainment group. We understand we may have to cancel or postpone again, who knows, but we're going to move ahead. We can't let this thing stop all of our lives. We're going to make sure that we do move prudently to do all the COVID. We're looking at other places, such as the cavern over on the other side of the mountain, who cannot go underneath in ground, so they're doing everything outside, and they're doing it in pods. That's a great idea. We're going to get every good idea we can find to try to make this thing work if possible. The building, if you've noticed, has gotten up. We've been exactly a year since we broke ground. I looked back at a camera picture and had it dated, and but we've made good progress with what we've had. We've got another grant on the way to help us move forward. It would sure be nice if we could move a little faster, because it would really help us in doing the next event, if that in fact can happen. Thank goodness that we've got folks in the community like Dunlap Stone, Jeremy Thomas and his group that have donated lots of rock and gravel, and our road supervisor for helping us put that in place. It's looking better all the time, but it's a slow work right now. Any questions for Valley Fest? Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Doc. Okay, the next report, I have a copy from the County Exec's office of the cash flow analysis. It's on an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to make that public to the clerk. And the copies, other copies, if somebody wants one, are right here on this front desk. I know I pick up, a lot of times when I pass them out, I pick up more than I give out, so, but they're here. So I want to make that part. Also, the trustees report from Larry Lockhart, good through December 31st. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Up next, Sheriff, I'm going to pull you up first, Corey Swanner.
I think I can be briefer than Ms. Meehan, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. You have my October, November, December reports there. I'd entertain any questions that you have about those at this time. If not, the only other thing that I would say is, as Dr. Pickett said, with the pandemic, you know, the Tennessee Supreme Court has pushed court out till the end of March. So we're still dealing with all that, with the court system, counselor, as you know. So we're dealing with that on a daily basis as much as we can. I would entertain any questions you would have about that as well. Being none, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Coach Pete. The school system, Michael Swafford. How a lot of folks know him. I don't know him as that. One of my first coaches. He doesn't look that old, does he?
He's pretty young. Well, if you think I'm old, Winston Pickett's the guy that hired me, so. What does that tell you? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for allowing me to come tonight. We mailed out our mid-year financial summary. I'd be glad to entertain any questions on that. And I'll try to be brief. We've got a lot going on. We've been in AB scheduling where kids go 2 days a week. Since Christmas, Thursday, we'll be going back 5 days a week. We watch the numbers daily. Hopefully we can make that work. We went from September 22nd to the middle of December, 5 days a week, so we hope we can continue to work that. There's a lot going on in building projects. The Griffith Reno is about halfway finished. We've opened up 10 of the classrooms. You're more than welcome to come down and see them. They really look amazing. Building built 1963, and the rooms, they're brand new. So it's really going to be a nice project when we get finished. We just put out for bid a welding area at the high school, and so it's in the design phase, and it's actually about to start groundbreaking on that. We also have put out for design some upgrades in our athletic facilities on at least 4 different areas of athletics. So there's a lot going on. Some of those numbers in there, if you look at the student services, we've had to spend a lot of money on virtual learning this year. We had over 500 virtual students at the beginning of the year. We're down to about 150 in our virtual number. We've also applied for and received probably around $3 million in grants this year that we don't normally get. We've bought more than 500 student computers this year. Every student that we have in the school system has available to them their own personal computer that belongs to the school system. We probably bought 100 teacher computers and wall monitors, so it's been a challenge applying for the grants and trying to make things available. We partnered with BTC to make sure any student who did not have internet had internet for the days they do virtual. And so we've hooked up probably 150 or 200 students to internet that didn't have internet when the school year started. So just a lot going on, and every day is a challenge, just like it is for everybody. But we'd be glad to entertain any questions if you have them.
Coach, I have a question. I've gotten a couple of phone calls. I know the answer, but just for clarity.
Okay.
So this Thursday, we're starting back 5 days, correct?
Yes, the only students who won't be in school every day starting Thursday will be the 150 or so that are 100% virtual. And that's about 7% of our students maybe are 100% virtual for different reasons. They committed to it for the whole semester. Some of it is medical, so, just different reasons that students wanted to be virtual.
Again, just for clarity, why was the decision made to start back now? Is it based on diminishing numbers, active cases?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in 1st of December, the number of active cases in Sequatchie County got to over 300, which is almost 2% of our population. And since then, it has kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster. The board authorized me to determine when we go back, but we've had lots of discussions. It's not just me, we've had lots of discussions. And the numbers have gone down consistently to where they're just now slightly under 100, and that's still a significant number, but it's back down to where it was before when we were going 5 days a week. Students need to be in a seat in front of a teacher or in a classroom in front of a teacher. There's no substitute for that. And so it's our hope we can go from now till the end of May, but we're going to watch the numbers each day, and we keep a spreadsheet of all of our people who are quarantined or isolated, students and teachers, and we know how many are out in a given day. And staffing has been a challenge, but our staff has done an amazing job, and our students have too, really, and in circumstances that none of us have ever seen. Some of us, a lot of us remember standing in line to get the polio vaccine. So, that's all I can liken it to. Yeah. But yes, it's based on numbers, active numbers. The school board voted to let me have that decision-making authority, but they've made it clear they want the students in school when the time is right.
Well, you're like me. You certainly wouldn't have made that without the support and the confidence of the board. So.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And we, BTC Fiber is here, you know, the Charlie Boring and Matt Boynton came into my office and we talked about getting internet for our students, and they basically said we're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen, and I said we are too. And so it's a good partnership, and we did it with a handshake, which is pretty neat. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And I will do this again at the end of the meeting, but Ethan Lloyd is here with BTC Fiber. I want to thank you, Ethan, for showing up tonight and helping us out. Tommy going down and not feeling well, we called on Ethan, and he didn't even say, he just said what time and when. So he shows up and does logistics on the room, and this just doesn't happen. He showed, you know, this takes a lot of planning, so thank you, Ethan. Eric with the Highway Department, please come forward. Everyone should have gotten a copy of the Highway Report. I know we're going to have to take a little action here on the surplus list that's within that report, but Eric, give us your report, sir.
All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. It's been a while. Top of my report, I've got the gas monthly revenues that we get. If you look at the bottom in January, I left all three, 2019, 20, and 21 on there for a reason. Nashville's telling me that our revenues will be down somewhat. And if you look at it, you can see 21, January is down to about 2019 levels, which is a pretty good difference for us. But he told us to keep an eye on it. I'm going to put these on there so y'all can see what we're dealing with day in and day out. The next thing, if you'll look on Schedule A, under looking forward, item number 3, I've got some roads down there that we're planning on paving first as soon as the weather warms up. And then after that, we'll see where the money's at, and then we'll go further. And then the state aid, we're going to start working on East Valley Road a little bit. There's some bad areas over there. Surplus equipment. We got one piece on there that we request get put on approval so we can get.
It comes as a motion from the road department that we approve the surplus item. I'll entertain a second.
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Tommy Johnson. Any discussion, questions? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, hereby likewise. Motion hereby passes.
Okay, and then the other thing, this year's audit went better than I really expected. We've come up with 0 findings, pretty pleased with that. A lot of that's due to the girls in the office and me working constantly on that. But the big thing is the county government guy that does our insurance and safety. He come by a few days ago, give us our quarterly safety videos and stuff, and we talked about things. But the takeaway from that was he told us we went from the worst in the state for recordable injuries to one of the best in the state, and which is going to eventually drive our insurance costs down, which I'm very pleased with that. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot. If you get any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. Eric's doing a splendid job with the highway department. I can't say enough good things about him. He stole a little bit of an arrow's thunder coming up with a report on audit in just a few moments. But also, I will go ahead and say that the school, no findings. Sheriff, no findings. Let's see, there was one finding. I don't know who that was to, but Venero will explain that a little bit later. But anyway. Okay, up next, Jennifer with legal. Anything from council at this point?
There's no court, not much going on.
Any questions for council at this time? Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, moving over to Ag. Is Sheldon here? I don't think he is.
They have calendars from him now.
Okay, there's Sheldon left everybody a calendar. I use these all the time, so thank you, Sheldon. Mr. Venero. Sherry is unable to be with us. She usually gives this report. She's had a little surgery, I think, done, and she wasn't able to attend, so.
Okay, so we had our audit committee meeting this morning. We did welcome Jakey Cooley as our chairman for his first meeting today, and we broke him in, and he did an excellent job this morning. This is, again, a very thorough audit. It's done every year by the state, and this is no different. Brenda can attest to the documents we had to produce and some of the calls we had to field for it. We did have our exit interview, that being Keith and myself. I had to be there at the request of Brandon, who was our state auditor. That took place on January 14th. It was about a half-hour exit interview. And like I said, some of the thunder's been gone. My goal every year is to have a no-finding audit, or at least improve from the year before. And this was as close as it gets. The school, as we reported, had no findings. The highway department, no findings. The sheriff department, no findings. There was only one finding, and it all comes down to the initials KC. You can all figure out who that is. But joking aside, it really is amazing. But what it is, the finding was this. It's all about dual control. Last year, the auditor required that bank statements each month, which are absolutely clean going out, require a second set of initials, that being Keith's signature. This was a finding or recommendation last year that we said we would have a corrective action. The corrective action was that Keith would initial them, and a couple just fell through the cracks and didn't get initialed. So that was the only finding, was that there were missing initials on a couple documents. So to me, that is a no finding, but next year, let's make it clear so we have it where we actually can say no findings. But I will say, since we've been up here, myself, and since we had to start this audit committee, I remember the day when I started, there was 20 findings, then 15, then 12, and now we're down to one really seemingly minor one with an initial. So I think that really goes well. It makes our job easy from an audit committee standpoint, and I think it'll be another smooth year for us going forward, but we just need those couple initials and we'll be audit free. But honestly, from a county perspective, we should be proud that all those departments had that basically no finding. Any questions?
Thanks for a job well done.
Yes.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, up next, I'm going to call on Jay Mack with Emergency Services. I know you had a meeting this afternoon, so.
Yes, sir, we did. Emergency Services Committee met this afternoon over at the Senior Center. It's the first time I've been in that building since it's been renovated and new carpeting and all that has been put in. We took no action on anything today. The reality is, in January, our meetings pretty well revolve around budget, discussion of budget, what we want to try to do, if there's any pressing issues and things of that nature. So we went through the discussion of what we might need to do for budgetary wises through the MA for any continuing COVID issues that would do. And we also discussed the updating of some radio repeaters and a new radio repeater itself at Lewis Chapel. A couple of things that we need to do to these radio repeaters is to get onto a backup battery schedule to have a more robust and serviceable battery system so in the event the power goes out. And then we also discussed the adding of a standby generator for the new Wolf Pen repeater site as well. The other thing we discussed was the possible expansion of the Lewis Chapel area, of adding one more communications tower to that area. Given the cost of about $225,000 to do that, we've only entered a discussion of that, and there are some avenues we want to look at to maybe parlay that cost or maybe spread that cost out over a period of a couple of years, something like that. So there's some more research that has to be done. So other than that, we've taken no action. But it is something that would help enhance our radio coverage in that area, and it's something we want to look into for the public safety side. So other than that, the next meeting for the Emergency Services Committee is the third Monday of April, and that will ostensibly be at the Senior Center as well. We kind of like that venue. Everybody can social distance over there, and it works out really good.
Thank you, Jay Mack. Any questions for Jeff? Thank you, sir. Okay, up next, I'm going to call on Winfred Smith, the Director of 911, and also our EMA. Winfred. I see Winfred more than I see my wife, so.
We didn't want to go over the numbers, what's going on with our COVID at this time. County's done great. they've kind of done everything we've asked them to do. Our numbers as of right now are down to 97 active cases today. Like Mr. Swafford has studied earlier, we did get over 300 cases a day there during the holidays. But we've done real good with it. We still got a ways to go. Vaccine is in the county. We've got quite a few going out. We're close to about 1,000 doses total into the county right now. The groups that are, excuse me, the groups that are available are the 1A1, 1A2, and anybody 75 years or older. The exception to that is age 18 and cannot live alone. They've got something that they have to have a caregiver or be helped with, and they're not able to function independently. So those doses are being given. They're making appointments now. I've heard a lot of people in here tonight tell me they've got their first or second dose scheduled. They got called today. So the health department is making those calls. If you have any questions about it or want to know the numbers, if you give me just 1 second. We've got three telephone numbers you can call to get help registering for this if you need help with it. One of them is at the Sequatchie Dunlap Chamber of Commerce, which is 423-949-7608. Also, our Sequatchie County Senior Citizen Center, she's helping with that, and that is 423-949-2228. And also, the young lady we have working for the EMA helping us on track some of this, you can call her at 423-949-2911. You can call any of those 3 numbers. They will help you with information. They'll also try to help you get registered for either your first or second dose, either one. And we will announce as soon as they let us know when we move into the next category, which should be 70 and older. I can't give you a date, but that is our next group that will be added on to be able to get the vaccine. And I'll entertain any questions. One other thing I want to say about you was talking about audits and all that. Also, the Sequatchie County 911 Center just completed the 5th straight year audit with no findings. So that was also came in.
Thank you, Wayne. Okay, Will, I see you back there. Will Pitt from Puckett. Will you come forward, sir?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for having me as always. Last quarter, Puckett EMS responded to 327 calls for service in the county. Of those, 248 were taken to the hospital here in Sequatchie Valley. The average response time to urban areas was 10.5 minutes. The average response time to rural areas was 19 minutes. We've also had a lot of success in the last few months ironing out some of the supply chain challenges, things like getting the appropriate protective equipment for our folks. We've been able to keep up with that really throughout this entire pandemic, but we've finally got to where we're able to get ahead and stock up. We're burning through personal protective equipment, as you can imagine, at a pretty incredible rate. And so we have decontamination equipment that's assigned to each ambulance. We're continuing to use the same rigorous decontamination protocols for the ambulances that we've done since this all started. Last, if I would ask that everybody here would keep the family of Shane Worley in your thoughts and prayers. Many of you guys may know Shane. He spent 26 years in emergency services, public safety, many of them as a paramedic for Puckett. He also worked in the ER here. Shane passed away recently as a result of COVID, far too young, like many people in this area. And so if you would keep his family in your prayers as well, I would appreciate that. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions for Will? Will, thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to call on the chairman of our personnel committee, Tommy Johnson.
Personnel Committee met this evening to discuss what the county, Sequatchie County, is actually going to do going forward concerning the employees and supplemental COVID sick leave. As everybody remembers, back in 2020, under the CARES Act, we were able to afford to give employees up to 14 days of pay if they were either impacted by COVID or quarantined. So the CARES Act ended on December 31st of 2020. So in mirroring what the governor of the state of Tennessee is requesting to do and what the school system has just recently proposed and passed, the Personnel Committee, in form of a motion to the full commission, is proposing that we entitle employees up to 10 days of paid sick leave up through the end of April 1, through March 31 of 2021. This would be 10 days if that person has not used any of their 14 days prior to this time frame. If they've already used the 14 days, and they can use personal time off or any kind of paid sick leave that they've accrued. So that is in form of a motion that the commission pass the Sequatchie County Supplemental COVID sick leave policy.
We have a motion from the Personnel Committee to adopt this. Is there a second? We have a second from Mr. Barger. Any other discussion or questions? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. This helps our employees. The worst thing we need is them to feel stuffy and have to feed their kids and to bring that and infect others. And the pressures of finances sometimes can alter your judgment in some cases. So thank you, Personnel Committee, for stepping up. So after that, we have Ronnie with roads. Ronnie, well, we're good to go. He gave a pretty thorough report. We don't have any roads to adopt tonight. It's typically January. Not quite ready, but Eric did a great job, and we had a good meeting. So
we did meet, but no action on that.
Other than the surplus. Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate it. Okay, anybody from the chamber here? Janice, I don't believe she's here tonight. I see you back there, Joe, is trying to hide, so. Okay, moving over back this, we've got Winston done. Okay, Mr. Barger. But
thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Keith. Commissioners, those in attendance. The Budget Committee did meet this evening and have a couple of items to go over. Most everybody, you should got these in your packets. We had a few transfers and some surplus items and some business to take care of. So the first item, and this came as a recommendation from the Budget Committee, was to transfer from Budget Code 101, 39,000, a sum total of $12,891.67, and that's transferring to 54,110,338. That same amount, $12,891.67, and that was. As I said, that was a motion from the Budget Committee to accept that. This was actually vehicle insurance reimbursement. That'll be going into the sheriff's vehicle line item.
This is a reimbursement. You've heard the motion from the Budget Committee. Do I hear a second? Second. I have a second from Ronnie Land. Any questions, discussions? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Motion hereby passes.
All right. The second item that we had to transfer is out of Budget Code 101, transferring from 39,000 fund balance, sum total of $900, transferring that to 52,500,355. That same amount, $900, to the county clerk travel. And this was a motion from the Budget Committee to make this transfer.
I'll entertain a second.
Second.
I have a second from Jeff Mackey. Any questions? Because does not exceed $5,000 even out of fund balance, we do not have to roll call, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion passes.
All right. A couple of other items that the Budget Committee had gone over. The sheriff had came and proposed a couple, and you guys should have copies of this. The first item, this comes as a motion from the Budget Committee to accept these 10 vehicles as surplus. And there was, in your copy, there was like, I don't know, some of them were seizures and some of them was actually department vehicles, but there's a total of 10 items, 10 motor vehicles that the sheriff has asked to surplus.
You hear the motion from the budget. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a second from Chester Shell. Any questions, deletions? The valuation of these, no, because it's simply a surplus item. Okay, we do not have to roll call. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion passes on surplus.
Yep. There was a second list of items that the sheriff brought, and this also came as a recommendation from the Budget Committee to surplus these items. This was office equipment inventory. These are some older, out-of-date computers and things of that sort, and it came as a motion from the Budget Committee to surplus those items.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a second from Ronnie Land. Any questions? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Said motion passes.
Okay, and the last item that the Budget Committee discussed was a Phase 2 quotation for the Sequatchie County Jail. Everyone should have a copy of the quote. It came as a motion from the Budget Committee to appropriate these funds from Project Fund 171 Capital Projects, a total of $88,135 to go with this quotation to upgrade the jail, and Sheriff, you might help me, locks and computer services.
Okay, we have a motion. Let me go ahead and get a second, Sheriff. Do I hear a second? David Hudson, I got a second from him. Any questions? Now we can discuss. Sheriff.
So, if you recall back several months ago, we did Phase 1, which was the upgrade to the camera system, and those of you who weren't here, when we talked about this in the Budget Committee, the second phase would be whenever Tommy, our IT guy, started looking at the system and what needed to be upgraded. The camera system was the worst thing that needed to be upgraded the quickest. The second phase is basically the computer systems and all the locking mechanisms to operate basically all the jail doors, all the cell doors, exterior doors, also the communication system between the correctional staff and the inmates. There again, not needing to be today upgraded, but it's going to need to be upgraded. It's 15, 16-year-old technology, and here we are. Phase 1 took care of the camera system. Here we are in Phase 2. So that's what this is.
Any other questions? Because this exceeds $5,000, Madam Clerk, a roll call.
Chester Shell,
Yes.
Gary Williams,
Yes.
Brian Ruling,
Yes.
Bobby Sherman,
Yes.
James Freeland,
Yes.
Bill Hatfield,
Yes.
Lois Dodson, yes. Ronnie Land,
Yes.
Jeff Gardner,
Yes.
Paul Powell,
Yeah.
David Cartwright,
Yeah.
Clint Hood,
Yes.
David Hudson,
Yes.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Tom Nero,
Yes.
Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
Okay, motion hereby passes. Thank you, Chairman Parker.
Thank you, sir. That is all that the Budget Committee discussed today.
Okay. Now, guys, that's all the reports and committees, I believe. Have I left anyone out? I'm not that aware that I have. That's taken some time to sort through, but we're going to move forward. First on the new business is District 6 Commissioner appointment. Jennifer has laid out the procedures and helped me with these, and Tommy as well, filling these, and C-Task has all helped, and we want to do this right. We've properly advertised these vacancies, and we want to move forward through this. Now, I'm going to ask at this point, we're talking about District 6. That's first on the agenda. I'm going to ask a nomination. We do not need a second. I need a nomination from the sitting District Commissioner 6, which is David Cartwright. David, do you have a nomination?
Yes, sir. I'd like to nominate June Dishman.
June Dishman is your nomination.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, David Cartwright. Next, I'm going to ask the other commissioners. Other commissioners, do you have a nomination for District 6? Hearing none, we'll move forward. I now will ask the audience, anyone that lives or resides in District 6 from the audience, do you have a nomination? Now, you will need a commissioner to support that nomination. Do I hear any? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to cease nominations. I have a motion from David Hudson. Do I hear a second? Jeff Barker. We have a motion and a second to cease nominations. Is Miss Dishman here?
On the back row.
June, would you stand up, please? And we welcome you here. And let me say this, any commissioner, do you have any questions? Or June, do you have any questions for this commission? Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk, I ask that you do a roll call, and we only have one nominee, so let's make that clear. So.
Okay, Chester Shell?
Yes.
Gary Williams?
Yes.
Brian Ruling?
Yes.
Bobby Sherman?
Yes.
James Freeland?
Yes.
Bill Hatfield?
Yes.
Joyce Dodson?
Yes.
Roy Land?
Yes.
Jeff Barber?
Yes.
Paul Powell?
Yes.
David Cartwright?
Yes.
Clint Hood?
Yes.
David Hudson?
Yes.
Tommy Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Manero?
Yes.
And Jeff Mack?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Miss Dishman. June, I'm going to ask, and we haven't swore you in yet, you'll need to come by later this week and let Madam Clerk swear you in. But I'm going to ask that you join us. If there's a seat up here, where did Terry sit?
Terry sat right there.
Right there. Is that within Winfrey? Can she sit there? Or we need to.
We got a blue one right down there.
Right there. How about right here? Okay. I don't know where he's pointing.
Over here on the corner. Right for the rock.
Very good. June, we want to welcome you, and David, thank you for your nomination, and we really appreciate it. We really appreciate your offer to serve.
Do you have a speech for us? Got a speech?
Good, that's what
We won't bite.
All right, moving on to District 7 Commissioner appointment. I'm going to ask a nomination from the sitting District 7, Commissioner Clint Huth. Mr. Huth, do you have a nominee?
I do. Before I announce my nominee, I'd like to thank Executive Cartwright, whoever.
If you'd have said Mayor Land, I was going to keep it. I called Pete Johnny Cordell one time.
Whoever spearheaded the honoring of Commissioner Terry Dishman and Commissioner Ray Hobbs, that was very good, very well deserved. Two men that are going to be greatly missed. To try to replace Ray and Terry, we know is next to impossible. We'll never be able to replace them men. But, you know, in an attempt to do so, I do have a nominee. Spoke with several in the 7th. We have several potential outstanding candidates in the 7th who I felt would do a very good job. My nominee is Frank Silver. I've known Frank for as long as I've lived here in Dunlap, in Sequatchie County. I think he has a lot of the same attributes that Ray had. A good Christian man, thinks for himself, thinks through a problem, cares about the people, and will represent the people, and I think he'll do a good job. And I would nominate him for any position I could think of other than possibly city mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Okay, do I hear a nomination from any other commissioner? Moving forward, do I hear a nomination from anyone, a resident from the 7th District that's here tonight? Hearing none, I have one nominee, Mr. Frank Silver. Mr. Frank, would you make your way to the podium, please? Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, our nominee is, well, first of all, let me entertain a motion to cease nominations.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Bartlett, second from Jimbo. All in favor say aye to cease nominations. Aye. All opposed likewise. Nominations hereby cease. We have Mr. Frank Silver. Madam Clerk, roll call.
All right. It is Jeff Michelle,
Yes, ma'am.
Gary Williams,
Yes.
Brian Lilly,
Yes.
Bobby Sherman,
Yes.
James Freeland,
Yes.
Bill Hatfield,
Yes.
Joyce Dodson,
Yes.
Ronnie Land,
Yes.
Jeff Parker,
Yes.
Paul Powell,
Yes.
David Cartwright,
Yes.
Clint Hood,
Yes.
David Hudson,
Yes.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Tommy Nero,
Yes.
and Jeff Mack.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Frank, unanimous. We hoped it would be like that, and I want to commend these nominations. These are two splendid people with high integrity, both of them. We're honored to have you on the commission. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Frank Silver? Hearing none, Frank, if you could, I don't know where you're going to say it, right over here on the right. It's just ceremonial, but if you will join us up here in front, we welcome to the commission.
But we won't ask you for a speech.
These Methodists stick together. All right, due to the vacancies in the commission from Mr. Dishman and Mr. Hobbs, that leaves our budget committees and other committees less one or two folks on some of these committees. So specifically with the budget committee, I am naming Clint Huth in the 7th to move up to the budget committee. He is the sitting representative from that district that was elected. Also in the 6th, I'm moving David Cartwright up in the budget committee seat. That is effective February 1st, and we'll be doing that as well. I sent a new handout that you should have received in your packets. I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended standing committee selections. Have a motion from Jimbo. Do I hear a second? Have a second from Mr. Shell. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Said motion hereby passes. Okay. All right. Next on the agenda, the E91 board appointments. I have given you a list, and I need to make one correction, and we will need, I'm going to ask that we waive the 5-day rule, because on my original copy I have it correct, but on the copy most of you got is not correct. And in Cecil Nunley's place, my nomination, and this is from recommendations from basically Clint and Winfred and people that have to work with these. In Cecil's place, I'm naming Ed Nunley to replace that, and he will only be good for 1 year. His term will expire December the 31st of 2021. Ed is a past commissioner, understands the program. He goes to most of the meetings anyway, but I am naming Ed Nunley to that. Next, Shane Garrison, I'm reappointing Shane, and his term is a 4-year term. It will expire 12/31/24. And then Donald Rifkin, a 4-year term. His term will expire 12/31/24. I'm renaming him. And also Terry Dishman to replace Terry. The sheriff helped me with this one. Doug Robertson, who represents the Sheriff's Department, a 4-year term. December the 31st, 2024 will be his expiration. That is the corrections. I need to entertain a motion to waive the 5-day rule.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Mackey. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a second from Tommy Johnson. Any questions? Clearing up. If none, all in favor of accepting these nominees, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. These nominees stand and are named hereby to the 911 board. Thank you. Next, the District 6 Constable appointment. Due to the passing of Constable Cecil Nunley from the 6th District, a vacancy is being officially announced. Jennifer wrote this and advertised it properly in a couple of different newspapers. And we're here tonight, and let me say this while we're on Cecil, and back to Shane as well with Puckett. We've lost some talent. And Cecil, 40 years of service with the rescue squad, and I know that he certainly will be missed, but it is our duty that falls to us to rename the constable for the 6th District. So going back to the 6th District Sitting Commissioner, I will ask David Cartwright, do you have a nominee for the constable for the 6th District?
Yes, sir. Thomas Mahoney.
Thomas Mahoney. Mr. Mahoney is here with us. He's got the blessing of the sheriff, I know that, and he is here with us, and Winfred and everybody. He works within the system well, so he is here. Do we have another nominee from any other commissioner? Moving forward, do we have anyone from as a resident of the 6th District who has a nomination? Hearing none, Thomas Mahoney is the only nominee. I'll entertain a motion to cease nominations.
So moved.
Mr. Paul Powell makes the motion. Jimbo Breland seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Madam Clerk, roll call for Mr. Thomas Mahoney.
Chester Shell?
Yes.
Gary Williams?
Yes.
Brian Ruland?
Yes.
Bobby Sherman?
Yes.
James Freeman?
Yes.
Bill Hatfield?
Yes.
Ronnie Land?
Yes.
Joyce Dodson?
Yes.
Jeff Barger?
Yes.
Paul Powell?
Yes.
David Cartwright?
Yes.
Clint Hood?
Yes.
David Hudson?
Yes.
Tommy Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Zero?
Yes.
And Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Mahoney, would you please stand, sir? Anyone have any questions for Mr. Thomas Mahoney? Thomas, welcome. I know you'll do a splendid job, and we thank you for your service. Checks in the mail. Thank you, though, Thomas, seriously. It takes a special type person to be a servant like that. So anyway, moving forward, we are required by the comptroller to come up with a budget calendar every year. I didn't do this at our October meeting. Sherry, Brenda and I kind of came up with this with Jeff Barger. Sherry is approved of this, and this is basically our budget calendar. It should have been in your pocket. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion from Jimbo, a second from Jeff Barger. Any questions? If none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Hearing none, said budget planning schedule hereby approved. In the packets, there's a proclamation. It's basically it's for Tennessee Foster Hope Day with Tennessee kids in Sequatchie County. And let's see, Jennifer, I know this is your friend that called me on this. Do you have anything to say about this?
Well, Emily, the lady that called you, she does foster care, and her family has got into foster care, and so she just asked to put this proclamation out. I think several counties have adopted it. Just the importance of fostering children that need help, and so that's what it says, is that Sequatchie County supports foster parents, and it's a very hard job. She's done it for several children and has been successful at it and has adopted some children, so that's all it says.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that clarification. A motion to adopt this proclamation. I'll entertain that motion. Ronnie Land, do I hear a second? I have a second from Chester Shell. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Said proclamation hereby passes. Listen, we want to talk about special people. I know Winfred, growing up with him, his parents did the foster thing. And, as a parent now, I can't imagine, but Fern and Winfred Sr. did a great job, except for Winfred. But, moving forward, Resolution 745, the Cdbg application. We went over this in budget. This is basically an application to help the city of Dunlap, basically, with their wastewater treatment, and it's in dire need of help. And one thing I will say about this is Beth Jones has taken over the project. And also this says that the city of Dunlap will pay the match. We've not gotten the Cdbg grant in 8 years. A lot of that's due to our good fiscal financial shape that we're in. It's based on need and a point system that we have not qualified in years. This, we think, has a great chance of making things work. We've got several projects in the pipeline. Hopefully, the expansion of the National Cemetery. These things are a must to get done, and we have to help our shining star, the city of Dunlap. So I ask that, recommend that we do this highly. I'll entertain I'm sorry, this comes as a motion. We did this, no we didn't. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 745, 2021.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Barger, a second from Jimbo Breeden. Any discussion? Questions? I think we covered it thoroughly in budget. Because this exceeds the money, even though we're not paying anything, I'm going to roll call this because I want an accurate record. Madam Clerk.
Chester Shell? Yes. Gary Williams?
Yes.
Brian Ruling?
Yes.
Bobby Sherman?
Yes.
James Freeland?
Yes.
Bill Hatfield?
Yes.
Ronnie Land?
Yes.
Lois Dodson? Yes. Jeff Barger?
Yes.
Al Powell?
Yes.
David Cartwright?
Yes.
Clint Hood?
Yes.
David Hudson?
Yes.
Tommy Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Nero?
Yes.
Jeff Mackey?
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 745 hereby passes. Moving on to Resolution 746, 2021, the Fire Equipment Grant/Loan Application. This is a resolution allowing us the ability to simply apply for this loan through rural development. Now, this has a 35% match. We've got down to the nitty-gritty, and it's $315,000, but 35% of that's about $115,000 that we will get in addition to that at, I can easily say no cost, but we all know better than that. Somebody's paying for it somewhere. But this is an opportunity for us to get some free money. So we discussed this as well, but I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 746.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Powell.
Second.
Second from Tommy Johnson. Any discussion or questions? again, because it exceeds that amount. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Gary Williams?
Yes.
Brian Ruben?
Yes.
Bobby Sherman?
Yes.
David Freeland?
Yes.
Bill Hatfield?
Yes.
Ronnie Land?
Yes.
Lois Dodson? Yes. Jeff Barger?
Yes.
Paul Powell?
Yes.
David Cartwright?
Yes.
Clint Hood?
Yes.
David Hudson?
Yes.
Tommy Johnson?
Yes.
Tommy Nero?
Yes. He said yes.
Jeff Becky?
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 746 hereby passes. Moving next to the county executive, address the commission. I have in my hand Resolution 747, 2021. Ms. Mitchell, would you come forward, please, and present this resolution? Nisha is passing this resolution out. First, we need to waive the 5-day rule, and I'll entertain a motion to do that so that we can take action. I have a motion for Mr. Powell, second for Tommy Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. To waive the 5-day rule hereby passes. Councilor.
I received a call from Bill Killian, who some of you may know. He was an attorney in Jasper for a long period of time, and then went with the U.S. Attorney's Office. He's with a law firm in Chattanooga now, and they are doing opioid litigation. And there's an act, it's called the Tennessee Drug Dealer Liability Act, which creates a cause of action against any participant that knowingly puts drugs into a community. And we've had a lot of problems in this community with opioids and medical professionals that have, just basically been a pill mill. And so what this does is it allows, there was a Tennessee Supreme Court case that came down that said the district attorney could not prosecute in his individual name this cause of action for a particular county, but we needed the county to join in the lawsuit. And basically it names Mike Taylor as our representative. He's the district attorney for the 12th Judicial District, which we are in. It's not going to cost the county any money. I'm assuming if we win, then the lawyers will take their cut out of it and we will get a portion, but it's basically to go after these drug companies and these drug individuals that have put opioids, and they can prove have put opioids into our county. Bledsoe County has passed this, Ray County has passed it, or they will be passing it, Franklin County. When I talked to Mr. Killians, most all counties in the state are passing it based on this case. And so they're just asking Sequatchie County to pass it and see if we can get some money back in our county for the drug of opioids that have been put in here. So,
stay right there for a minute, Counselor. I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution. Tommy Johnson, thank you. Second from Tom Venero. Now let's discuss. Any questions for council?
Where's the money coming from?
well, they're prosecuting anybody that has been putting drugs into like a doctor's office or a pharmacy, or anybody that has illegally been prescribing excessive amounts of opioids, or, that's been illegally possessing it or distributing it.
Would that be like Purdue Pharma? Purdue Pharma is one of the big opioid companies that is producing drugs that they've got pending lawsuits now. $1 billion lawsuits.
Yes, it's a similar type one, yes. Any questions?
Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Hearing none, said motion hereby passes. Thank you, Counselor. Okay, just a couple of things. Appointment of notaries. Madam Clerk. Read us the bill of fare.
Thomas Kirk Austin, Lisa Deanna Barker, Sheena Ray Bishop, Danielle M. Carney, Tierney May Gibson, Travis Cody Paulson, Kimberly A. Burnley, Larissa Lynn Taylor, Linda Denise Hurley, Jennifer Austin Mitchell, I'll go by her, Janet Holt Dixon Healy, and Vicki Youngblood.
Motion to approve. Have a motion from Jimbo.
Second.
Second from Mr. Williams. Any questions?
You have to approve all of them?
It would selectively report.
All right, Jay Barton. All in favor say aye. All opposed likewise. Motion hereby passes. I want to thank again Ethan with Bledsoe BTC Fiber, excuse me, still a habit of mine, but thank you so much for being here and doing what you do for this valley. And Winston, thank you for being here, and the rest of you. Our new commissioners, June Dishman and Frank Silver. And our new constable. Now guys, what we can do, let me say this, now you guys can leave, but this lady is prepared, and she is prepared to swear you in right now. So we can get it all done right now, but we're going to stand adjourned. And,
Before you adjourn,
yes, Mr. Powell.
I think we need to sing happy birthday to our recorder here. She has had a birthday.
Yes, I like that. Okay, everybody join me in happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Madam Charlotte. Happy birthday to you. Here we go. Well, that goes for me too. We stand adjourned.
Good, y'all right? Yeah? I'll see you tomorrow night. I know, I had to think about it today. How are you?